Hello, all, and welcome to the second beer review of New Year's Eve. And it's 9 o'clock right now. I wanted to do this a little bit later than 9 o'clock, but it seems like the neighborhood's really starting to heat up. The smell of gunpowder is in the air, and the neighbors are lighting off chains, fireworks, the long red chains that you sometimes see in Chinatowns. And yeah, it's going to be really noisy. So better I do it now rather than later, if you catch my drift. So, yeah, what are we going to be reviewing? Oh, and I remember in the previous video I said I wasn't going to be drinking for a year. No, just a month. I'm taking a sober January, not a sober 2021. I don't think with the way the world's going I could last an entire year sober, as sad as that is. So, what are we reviewing? Well, as you know, I mostly review local beers. And this is another local beer. This one's a bottle from the new Kahala Foodland Marketplace. And this is from Big Island Brewhaus, the most underrated local brewery. This is pretty much one of the best breweries in the state. It doesn't seem to get as much love as I think it should. So this is a red India Pale Ale. I see it mostly classified on Untapped and Beer Advocate as a red or amber ale, but I think they more consider it within the family of IPAs. In this case, a IPA using red malt. So let's read the back label, shall we? Oh, interesting. It says here, this is a 2014 American Amber / Red Ale U.S. Open Beer Championships. Not the first one that it's won. Definitely not the last. They make some mighty fine beers for such a small brewery. Big Island Brewhouse does. Our sun will be a red giant in 5 billion years. This hoppy red ale is a red giant now. Brewed with a rich blend of light and dark caramel malts and a full dose of American hops, it finishes with dry hop and toffee flavors. Gold medal 2014 U.S. Open Beer Championships. Unfiltered, keep cool. Handle glass with care. Contents under pressure. Ding, 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 ding. Ding, ding. Heat and impact to bottles can be dangerous to you and this beer. Okay, so this is a live one. So this is 6.8 ABV. It seems like they upped the ABV a little bit since it was first made. Most of the review sites online have this at 6.5. It is currently 6.8. And just a little bit more verbiage about this being the highest brewery in Hawaii. See here, 2,764 feet above sea level, up in Waimea. Big Island is one of my favorite islands because it's not as touched by tourism. Kona side is, but Waimea and Hilo, and especially Puna, is not. Puna is the rural West Virginia of Hawaii, literally, down to the meth shacks, guys living in shipping containers, basically with AR-15s everywhere. Yeah. So, let's get to this, shall we? I'm a little bit excited. Ooh, there's some big IPA smells coming from that. That's some nice hoppiness there. So, you can see, completely unfiltered. This is very cloudy. I would say this is a red-brown with hints of amber as well, with a thick beige head. That is redolent of West Coast hoppiness. Pine, dank, florals, some hints of lemon zest, but mostly pine, dank, and florals. Can't really get a sense of the malt base being red here, but Definitely smells bready to biscuity malt base. Smells very to style for IPAs in the nose. Let's get this on the palate, shall we? Thick mouthfeel, but not very oily. Not much carbonation bite either. Not as bitter as I was expecting. Definitely a very medium level of bitterness for this IPA. Sort of rindiness and zestiness in the long finish. And up front, definitely a bready maltiness. Slightly dark. I would have to say that if this was a blind test, I would have difficulty identifying the hops as darker than your average IPA hops. It could be because it's a little bit too cool still yet. Let's see if the character changes as it warms up some. Not much residual smells on the palate. The malting is definitely rich and well balanced with the hops. It's not super hop forward. The hoppiness is sort of even throughout. Rindiness, zestiness, kind of a bitterness. It hides the ABV pretty well, I'd have to say. As it warms up now, it's been nearly 10 minutes out into the glass, the red malts are starting to assert itself a little bit more with a richness that emerges in the mids to finish, but not into the long finish. Hmm. And also a toffee note that was emerging in the nose as well. Yes, 100%. Right now it's a little bit obscured by the hops in the front, but is there throughout as well. Toffee, brown bread, but without the spice that I associate with some sorts of brown bread that use heavy amounts of rye. No real rye in this. No real caramel notes either. There's sweetness there, but it's not very caramelized. Yeah, definitely emerging now, as well as a bit more of the hop finish. There's really a lot of nice interplay in between the palate and the top notes here. And I'm really trying to infuse my nose right now to kind of get it above the gunpowder that's kind of just in the air right now. Yeah, lots of nice toffee richness there as it warms up. I definitely would not recommend this one being poured straight out of a refrigerator. It is very closed up when it is refrigerated cold, definitely about 50 degrees serving temperature. So, Red Giant, definitely big. While you're not going to find really surprising tastes here, you are going to find a nicely complex ale that has a sort of shifting character. And I can easily see why this one won, not because it's really pushing the envelope in regards to beer, but because it is a very fine, well done beer. You know, I'm not really, finding very weird notes here and there. It's all very much to style, but there's so much to find within that style. And this is one of the things I love about beer, and this is why this is the perfect capper for the end of December, and end of 2020, and it just kind of shows what I really like in beer. Just exploring these flavors and whatnot. And I'm going to be exploring flavors and exploring other things too in my sober January. I guess you'll see. I'm pretty sure a lot of you who are here for the beer and whiskey reviews, as few as you are really interested in what I'm going to be doing for January. But the beer reviews and the whiskey reviews will be starting up again in February, and I hope to see you there again. And if you're not interested, or if you are interested in what I'm doing in January, please tell me. Yeah, it's going to be exciting, just as much as this particular beer is exciting. Now, I haven't seen this too often, but it seems like they put this out every now and then. And in any case, I think Big Island Brewhaus is one of the best local breweries to really explore. That's very well distributed in that you can go to Whole Foods, you can go to certain supermarkets and find it there. And you'll find pretty much the peak of Hawaii craft beer experience without having really to go to a tap house or to really search around hard finding something that's really nice and complex and interesting. So, Red Giant, Red India Pale Ale. Complex, but still to style. An interesting beer in basically a style that I've gotten a little tired of, but is done so well that I can really talk about this for quite some time. So I guess that's really saying something about this beer. Sort of deserves that 2014 award. So, folks, that's your New Year's Eve beer review. A little bit more than 2.5 hours till the new year enters in. I don't know if I'll be conscious then. As you know, this is between the growler and this bomber. It's a little bit more than I'm used to drinking, so Yeah, I might just crash before that, even though I've been drinking a lot of tea in the time in between. I finished that last review and now. So, yeah, that's your beer review. And I hope to see you around. And, good and felicitous new year to you. Cheers. And, yeah, see you around, folks.